Hey, coaches, welcome back to Football Talk with Coach Chip. Today we're going to be talking about running the football. We talk about the anatomy of the J block. We're going to take a deep dive into it in one particular block on the power and break it down step by step, move by move, everything you need to know to teach your H, your Y, your sniffer, your fullback, whatever it is you call that guy who does the kick out on your power. This block and this video is going to open up your eyes, going to simplify it for you, make it more teachable, or you can share that with your kids starting right now in the off season and carry it right over through spring ball and on through the summer into fall ball. All right, let's get started. All right, the system is here. The gun power spread system is here, and a system is essential. You got to have it if you're going to have any prolonged, continuous offensive success. You have to have a system, or one day, one night, some defensive coordinator is going to outcoach you. He's going to see what you've done. He's going to say, this is what we're going to do to take it away. And if you don't have a system, you will not have answers. Remember, like we like to say, defensive coaches, they get paid too. If you're in rec ball and youth ball, they're working too. They want to win too. They know what they're doing. Always assume your opponent knows at least as much as you do. And you have to have answers to deal with this. The gun power spread will give you answers. And even if you don't run the identical offense that we ran for all those years, this will help you figure out this is what we need to do. And you know how I do things with our premium resources here at Football Talk with Coach Chip. If you want it, I'll send it to you. If you like it, you pay me. If you don't, no problem. Delete it. Just keep watching the channel, and I hope you'll find something sooner or later that will help you. So far, we've had good reviews from it. Coach is really liking it. And it's going to be perpetual in the sense that, like, I've already started working. Matter of fact, this video is because I was working toward the next when I'm going to update it. And what I'll do is I'll just add to the system, create a new book, if you will. It's the same book. I just add to it, and I'll send you a new link to the system. And you take the old one, you can put it in the trash bin, and you're not going to lose anything. The old stuff will be in there too. But the new stuff will be added. I'll just keep adding to the end of it. Right now it's over 400 pages. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I live long enough, that thing will be 1,000 pages one day, and you only would have paid $100. And of course, with inflation, if I'm still around in 5 years, it may be $150. Who knows? We never know what's going to happen. We might put a tariff on football systems. And it's also going to come with a wristband creator. It's an Excel file where all you got to do is type in your plays into the cells for each player and what they do on it. And then it will print for you that one particular player's wristband. And you'll have to play with it and see how you size it up for your wristbands, because all wristbands aren't created equally. They're not all the same size. If you want to try it out, say, hey, coach, send it to me. Let me see if I like it. I'll send it to you. I'll send you a bunch of freebies like I always do. If you don't like it, keep the freebies, keep the wristband creator, and just keep watching Football Talk with Coach Chip. All right, don't forget also, please be sure to subscribe to the channel today. Okay, it's 100% free, no strings attached. You will not get spammed from me for sure. And I've never been spammed by Google, the people that own YouTube, when I subscribe to someone else's channel. Go ahead, click on subscribe, and be sure to like this video as well. Hey, our podcast is out, 35 episodes. Just had one drop this week with Coach Tracy Malone of Rock Mart Yellow Jackets in Rock Mart, Georgia. That was a great conversation. You need to go there and check that out. It's on Spotify, Apple, and all the other podcatchers, whichever one you may use. Those are the two that I go to, so if they're not on the ones you use, I just Apple, Spotify, they're free. And there's over, like I said, 35 episodes now, with the most recent one up. Got college coaches, high school coaches, middle school coaches, youth league coaches, even had a JUCO, junior college coach come on, and just head coaches, assistant coaches, coordinators, you name it. We're trying to cover it all at Football Talk with Coach Chip, the podcast. And send me your ideas, for a guest or an idea for a video on the YouTube channel. All right, let's get started talking about the anatomy of the J block. All right, a J block is a blocking technique where a fullback or sniffer, we call him an H in our offense, aggressively engages a defender on the outside edge of the line of scrimmage. The H is coming from the inside. The blocker is coming from the inside, so it's an inside-out block. And he's aiming to push that player away from the play. It's usually a B or C gap play, the way we run power, to create a running lane for the ball carrier by kicking them out, kicking out the defensive player. Kick them towards the sideline. You cannot have a power play without a kick out of some kind. Some coaches like to use their tight end with a fan block, and that's cool too. But we use the J block. We call it a J block. You'll see in the diagram, it looks like a J. The purpose to prevent the defensive player, usually the defensive end, the end man on the line of scrimmage, from squeezing inside and making a tackle, or squeezing inside and spilling the ball outside where we don't want to go. We're trying to run off tackle. We've got the line blocking down. We got a wrapper coming from the backside, and we got the kick out block to create that running lane off tackle on the play side. It's typically executed by a fullback if you're an under center with a fullback, or even if you're a gun and you have a fullback. The sniffer, H, whatever you call him, he is positioned in the backfield and a little inside of the point of attack, maybe sometimes right at the point of attack if you're hitting the B gap. We put him in the B gap in the space between the guard and the tackle, far enough back that if he puts his arm straight out in front of him, his fingertips with his arms extended can barely touch the hips, just a smidge deeper than the booties of the guard and the tackle. And that's the depth we use. You can play with that. It depends on the kid, to be honest with you. All right, the technique, the blocker will aggressively contact the defender at the point of attack, and he uses his leverage from the inside and his body positioning, and you'll see that. I'm going to show you 5 video clips of 3 really good J blocks, 1 pretty good J block, and 1 not so good J block. And let's talk about the technique. The blocker will aggressively contact, as we said, the defender. We teach the kicker, positioned in the B gap, to step with his outside foot first, straight ahead. So what do you mean? Don't go right at him. Do not go right at the guy you're trying to block. I'll show you that in the diagram and in the clips. Because you're trying to, the aiming point is the inside number. The inside number of the defensive end or the M-loss. So what we want to do is we want to step up with our outside foot, take 1 more step with their inside foot, then push off, and that creates the J. And if that guy's a good squeezing DN, you're inside of him. He hasn't been able to get in there and pry you out and spill the play. So you've got to step up with the outside foot, step up with the inside foot. Some coaches use different things. You'll see one of the video clips, a kid kind of foot fires up in there. It's okay. He became part of the offensive line. Because you do not want to go straight from it. Okay, unless you're a team you don't mind bouncing. Some people do that. They go straight at him. If he squeezes, you get his outside number. And the back reads it and bounces. Listen, when I call a B gap play, you know what I want to run? I want to run the cockeyed B gap, by God. I don't want the defense dictating to me. And so what we do, we have him step up, outside, inside, push off, and then attack. And it also puts you in position to attack that near hip or inside number of the defender. All right, once he makes contact, we're going to have him strain and fight his inside hip up the field. We want his hips to become parallel with the sideline. Here you see a diagram of what we're talking about. The blue guy is our H in the system. He's the sniffer. A good friend of mine calls him a plug. He's going to step up with that outside foot, inside foot, push off, and attack that inside number, inside hip of that defensive end, the end man on the line of scrimmage right there. Remember, outside foot, inside foot, push out. Do not go straight to him because you're giving him an angle to come in here and blow up the B gap. You say, well, most people don't do that. Then you're in perfect shape. Just do this right here. Boom. He runs up the field. You got him easy. Hell, he just takes off running until you got to avoid his butt and go on and block somebody else. All right, more points of emphasis. And you'll hear me say these too throughout the video clips. We teach inside hat placement. Tell him to have his eyes on the inside, and that will take him to the inside hip / inside number. The kicker, the kick out block must keep his feet moving once contact is made. Big coaching point. Stress it with your kids. It's easy for them to remember. Kids have changed, but this doesn't change. People remember rhymes. People remember rhymes. Why do you think limericks are still around? 2 reasons. They rhyme and they're dirty. But a coaching point, dead feet will get you beat. On the offensive line, on any block, stalk block, kick out block, lead block on a linebacker, drive block, down block, dead feet will get you beat. You better be doing foot fire drills with all of your blockers, like the offensive line does. We want to work when they work their outside hip up the field. We teach the offensive line on down blocks, when you make contact, work your outside hips up the field. On the kick out, on the J block, we teach the opposite. He's going to work his inside hip up the field. We want to create that funnel. We talk about the funnel in the offensive line manual for gap down blocking. We talk about the funnel in the system. The reason I made this video, I was doing research for the edition that's going to be coming out in a few months. And I said, this would make a great video. I've talked about this before, but I haven't gone into great detail. So I went back and I got the offensive line manual out, did some copy and pasting, did some editing on it, and created this. Another coaching point. Teach your kids to make the block with their feet and their hips. And you'll see what I'm talking about, one of the clips. The kid's a little high, the blocker, and a big, strong defensive end is able to throw him outside and fall back in. But the block was good enough to begin with. The play still was successful. But he wasn't blocking with his feet and his hips. Got to keep those feet moving and keep those hips low. The aiming, that they need to have their helmet lower than the defensive end's chin. Lower than the defensive end's chin. People say, well, how low is low enough? Lower than the defensive end's chin. And you don't do that by bending at the waist. You bend at the hips. You bend your knees. And what you want to do, attack that inside number and then keep those feet firing and fight that inside hip up the field. And now you've pinned that guy outside so we can run inside. I'm serious. They got to think. And I used this when I was coaching them. You've got to think with your feet and your hips. That's where you got to focus. Just like when I was teaching a kid the deadlift, I said, put all your energy into your feet and push through the floor. Try to push your feet in through the foundation of the weight room floor. Tell them to put their focus, their mental focus, when they're executing these blocks, especially this J block that we're talking about today, on their feet. I'm telling you, it works. All right, if you lose the defensive end, you want to lose him outside and up the field, behind and outside the point of attack. Tell the kicker, do not try to blow up the defensive end. Don't go for, and I use this term, the kill shot. Don't try to go out there and make huddle highlights. That stuff will come. You're going to miss him 7 out of 10 times. Do the way we're coaching it right here, you'll get him better than 7 times. That's a much better bat. 700 beats 300. 300 only gets you in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Okay, it gets you on the bench in football. Come under control, be physical after contact, and finish the block. Okay? All right, before we go to the video, here's an opportunity to support old Coach Chip. Just had a guy this week. We've been emailing back and forth, left and right. He was having questions about the system. He goes, well, we do this and we do that. What do you think about that? And we just went back and forth. It was good give and take. He had questions. I gave him answers to the best of my ability. Next thing I know, he said, Coach, thanks so much. And he bought me a coffee. Matter of fact, I think he bought me 2 or 3. So if you want to show a little appreciation, it's buymeacoffee.com/Coach Chip. Okay. If you want to support Football Talk with Coach Chip, the YouTube channel and the podcast. All right, let's look at some video. All right, coaches, let's take a look at a few clips as we look at the anatomy of a J block. Now, this first clip was not really a J block, but it was perfect technique for it. We were down on the goal line, we faked the jet, and the H, the sniffer right here, is going to insert, and actually he's going to J block the 3 because they were in a goal line defense, and we made a call. He fanned, the fan calls right there, and we just went ahead and declared the 3 tech the M loss for the sake of the play. So we're going to get a block right here on the linebacker who's walked up, because his rule on the gut is first man, on his side of the ball. He's either going to block him down or fan him. And this guy's going to wrap around to right here. Let's look at it. Look at that. That's a great job. This kid, we ended up moving him to line for depth, but he's just a great physical kid. Watch, he's going to step up, inside number, work his inside hip upfield and turn the guy out. You can't beat that. You can run power, gut, whatever you want to call it, all day when you got an H doing that kind of a J block. Boom, inside shoulder, inside number, work the inside hip. Going to work that, boom, work that hip up the field, and it turns him out. It's automatic. And you don't even got to drive him like this kid did. You can just contact him. Now work your hip, and it's going to create that gap right there. If the defensive guy gets a stalemate right where he stands, and you work that hip up the field, that's a good block. Right there, that's a good block, but he keeps driving him out. Good job. I was looking at another. All right, now this starts fine, but right there, you see what I'm talking about? He is good until he quits working his inside hip up the field. Right there, good block. Look, he's on inside number. Great job. This hip right here, he needs to keep working it up the field. Right there. Right here, he needs to keep doing up the field. He needs to work that hip up the field. And it turns out to be enough, but we're not looking for enough. We're trying to be the best we can be. He's got to work that hip up field. And that may be a case, that's a big old strong youngin in that white uniform right there. That could be a case of him forcing him, but listen to this, coaching tip now. He's blocking him with his upper body if that kid's muscling him. If he's fighting his hips are stronger than arms and shoulders. If they're not, you're screwed. So they're going to work the hip up the field and hence pin that guy outside. One more time. Step up, become part of the line, maybe a little wide, but he gets that inside number, but fight that hip up the field. Here's another good one. Watch this. Boom. Now he does like a foot fire, and I teach step, step, turn. That's fine. He does a foot fire. He's becoming part of the line of scrimmage. And he's attacking that inside number of the DN right here. So he's going to kind of foot fire right here, get up in the line, turn out on the cat right there, attacking this kid's inside number. Let's look. Boom, right there. Work his, you see that inside hip. He totally turns his butt to the line of scrimmage. That kid runs around him right here. That's fine. Look, the ball's gone, guys. It's gone. Okay, this is a great J block right here. Boom, inside number, fight that inside hip up the field. Okay. Now, I would have, it's hard to be critical when it's such a good play, but you're fighting for perfection here. See how he comes out? I would have come here more and then did that, but you can't argue with the result. Inside number, good job, hips up the field. And what a great finish. What a great finish. Boom. And this is what I mean about not going out there and just trying to knock him down. Watch what he's going to do. He's going to fit up on this kid. He's going to fit up on him, and then he gets physical. Then he gets physical. He's not going out there and just, trying to lower the boom and get that great knockdown and get that ooh and ah for the huddle highlight. He is making sure he fits up on him almost like a stalk. So you're going to fit up on him. Now get physical. Watch him start getting fight. And then you get your knockdown. It may have tripped over the other kid. That's okay. It looks good. It looks good. And we'll get in his business now. Get in his business. Stay with him. There you go. See, that's so much better than just going out and knocking the crap out of him, because if you do that, you're going to miss 7 out of 10 times. But those 3 times are going to wind up on the huddle highlight. The 3 times that he doesn't miss. Meanwhile, you've got 7 times where he just whiffed because he's trying to kill the guy. You can flip those numbers. So 70 success if you do it like this kid right here did. What a great J block. The way he finishes it. That's a good one. All right, now, I always show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the last clip. This kid's going to go straight to him. When he should be coming up, become part of the line, make the J. That's why it's called a J block. It's not called an I block. You're making an I. Going to go straight to him. Now, this is going to be a good play because this DN doesn't squeeze a lick. Okay, the last time he squeezed, Bush was in office, and I'm talking about Bush's daddy. See, he's outside. It's darn near impossible to get the inside number going straight at him. Not impossible, but it's hard. Step up, become part of the line. Now look where he is. He's fit up on the guys outside. If this kid right here, the DN, squeezes a lick, he is going to blow it up. But he doesn't, so it doesn't matter. But you look at it on Friday night and you go, oh, what a great play. And you go back and look at film and go, oh, no, man, that wasn't very good. Look, fit up on the outside. Result's good, but it was not a good J block. All right, that was a look at our clips that we're going to use. This is part of the gap down backer manual, gap down backer offensive line manual. And also I'm going to put it in the next edition when I tweak the system. This video link will go in there where you can see it. But this is how you this isn't how you J block. Let's go to how you J block. This is how you J block. You make a J. This is how you J block. Inside number, become part of the line, attack the inside number, work your inside hip up the field where your nose is parallel to one sideline and your butte is parallel to the other. Okay? Very good. All right, coaches, that's it for this episode of Football Talk with Coach Chip. Thanks again for choosing to spend time with me and on this video channel. Here you see the list of our freebies, and we've also added the weight room plan. It's actually the first cycle, and it's just a good way to get started. It's a lot of athletic lifts, and you can get it done in 45 minutes, which I think accommodates most schedules for school PE or after school programs. All video clips contained on Football Talk with Coach Chip are meant for analysis, criticism, comment, teaching, and research by football coaches. We believe this falls under the fair use doctrine of the Copyright Act, Section 107. So this is the freebie list, and we've added now a 39th free resource. All you got to do to get these is subscribe to the channel. Okay, if you've already subscribed, share it. And just say, Coach, hey, send me this one, or send me numbers, this, and this, and I'll get it to you as quickly as possible, as quick as I see the email and can get to my computer. Don't forget, you have access to me. If you buy the system, just hit me up. If you don't want to buy the system and you said this won't suit me and you still want access to me, you got me, siegel.chip@gmail.com. We'll talk about it. I'll do Google Meets. We'll talk about some remuneration. And believe you me, it won't be much. I do this more for fun and to stay involved in football after retiring back in the spring of 2024. After 40 years of doing it, I decided that was enough. Speaking of 40 years, you've got 40 years of experience that's only an email away. And I'll do a Google Meet clinic with you, do a consultation, do an install. I'll come to you if you're not too far away. I've got a guy right now that if he gets the job he's applied for, he's going to have me come over. It's not too far from here. And I'm going to come over and do a clinic with his staff, and then eventually come over and do some install stuff with his kids in the spring. All right, that's it for this episode of Football Talk with Coach Chip, the anatomy of the J block, a deep dive. Until next time, coaches, be elite. All video clips contained on Football Talk with Coach Chip are meant for analysis, criticism, comment, teaching, and research by football coaches. We believe this falls under the fair use doctrine of the Copyright Act, Section 107.